Welcome to Duality Check, the podcast where two brothers embark on a journey through the realms of scientific inquiry, the mysteries of the past, and the uncharted frontiers of spirituality. Join us as we explore the wonders of our world and beyond, all while embracing the roles of curious bystanders rather than experts. Together we'll unravel the tapestry of existence, blending the dichotomies of knowledge and wonder. Get ready to question, ponder, and delve into the dualities that shape our understanding of reality on Duality Check. I'm Drew.
And I'm Dean, and welcome to episode number 87. Been quite the week, huh?
Been a crazy week, yeah. So I'm sure a lot of you, if not all of you, are aware of...
Oop, I didn't mean to kill the music so quick.
Gone. It's out of here. Yeah, I'm sure you're all aware of the recent news of Charlie Kirk being assassinated at one of his events.
In Utah,
at the Utah Valley University.
Mm-hmm.
He had 3,000 people in attendance at one of his little question and answer sessions at a college. And he was apparently shot from a couple hundred yards away with a high-power rifle.
Rooftop with a bolt action
30-06
Mauser, I think they said.
The Mauser was the rifle type.
Yeah, which I guess is like a foreign manufacturer. So apparently a bunch of those have been adapted to like American sizes because the 30-06 is more of a...
Right. It's more of an American manufactured bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... That's been pretty crazy. So we've kind of both been consumed by some of the news and all the surrounding craziness.
That happened on Wednesday, the 10th.
Yeah, just the day before September 11th.
And I actually found out about it basically at the same time as you did.
Yeah.
Our brother John sent us both a text asking if we heard about what happened to Charlie Kirk. I was like, no, what? And I immediately go online and
just
Google
search it,
and find the video of it happening. There's multiple angles.
Yeah. Watching the whole scenario, you see him being shot. It's pretty graphic. We probably won't play it, but we are going to talk about it.
Yeah, maybe I'll leave some links.
Sure. Yeah. Click on them at your own will.
If you really want to see it,
if you haven't already,
yeah.
It's been out there. It's been
I'm
everywhere
sure
on every platform.
Just about
you
everyone's
can find
seen it by now. Who wants to?
Yeah.
Or feels the need to. Not that you ever want to see that.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody wants to see it, but it's one of those things that kind of just like pulls you. It's kind of like, it's just so insane of an event.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where you kind of need to see it for the reality to set in.
Yeah.
Of like what is going on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to come up with any opinion on the situation and to have any insight into what actually happened, you got to see the video. But if you're sensitive, maybe don't look at it. But
yeah. It's really graphic. He gets shot in the neck. I saw a doctor do a video and said that he probably died instantly. I mean, he may have still had some functions in his body, which is why they rushed him off and he was in critical and everything.
Right.
Pronounced dead a little bit later. But according to the doctor, the angle and the place where it penetrated most likely severed his spinal cord.
And let out a lot of blood.
Well, the supporting, he says the real reason he thinks that is because there's like a known effect that happens with severe brain damage or spinal cord damage, where there's like your body goes into like a neutral position with arms up and like kind of like loose
defensive
fists.
Yeah,
no, it's not even really a defensive. It's just like
it's like a reaction.
Yeah, it's just like a default that you go into when your brain is not telling your body what position to have.
Right.
It will like reflex back to this. He said because of that and because of like the immediate slumping, he thinks it was pretty much instantaneous that he died, which thank God.
Yeah.
But
man,
it's probably the biggest, one of the biggest things like this
like
that has happened in a long time. I know like Trump got shot at multiple times, but like there's something that comes along with being a politician where like assassination is possible, and it happens all over the world, and it's happened multiple times in our country.
And the fact that he didn't actually die, and the fact during the event, not that the assassination itself isn't shocking. The assassination attempts, rather, are not shocking, but there is something different about like the finality of it.
Right. What hits me about this one in comparison to like a assassination attempt against a politician is that this was a person who was not a politician and who specifically spent his time going to college campuses to have conversations because he believed that that's what avoids violence.
Yeah. Yeah, his main message was, his main reason for doing what it is that he was doing was to maintain the conversation between the different groups that have different ideas and different opinions on the world.
Right.
And just sustaining the conversation, no matter where it ends up, just having the conversation for the conversation's sake, because, in his opinion and, in historical evidence, like the Civil War and the ends of nations happens when people are so capable of seeing the other side of the disagreement, like the people who disagree with them as being non-human, like too far past like reasoning with. But when you have conversations and you can maintain the debate, it opens people up to see the humanity of the other side and not the just ability to just write them off as too far gone, no matter what you believe.
Yeah. I wanted to play this clip of Charlie talking about what he believes.
Yeah, let's do that.
And why he does the campus tours. Yeah, so let's play this real quick.
I did. It's not showing it.
It's not updating.
Refresh. Technical difficulties.
There we go.
All right.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assault, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity. Yeah. I go around universities and have...
Yeah. He said it better himself.
Yeah, of course, because he's so eloquent, man.
Yeah. Craziest thing is he was so young, you know. He's not too much younger than I am.
Yeah. He's 31 years old with a wife and 2 children, who, by the way, were there that day.
Yeah, all 3 of them were there watching this event because it was supposedly his first of the year, having taken a break because he had a kid, and you know there was other political stuff going on that he was helping with.
It was the beginning of a new tour, so
yeah, he had just started the university tour again, basically. Like he was just starting. This is the first university of the year that he had gone to, to have these conversations again, because this is how he started. Obviously, you know, if you pay attention to what he had been doing, you know, he had been, you know, working with a lot of the political. He has a company, the Turning Point USA, and which is started from his table discussions at universities, obviously, but you know it's grown into something so much larger. So he's running a
decentralized organization where people can start chapters all over.
And they're working in all sorts of high schools and college campuses all over the United States.
Right.
And so he's heading
and the world, honestly.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible for how young he is, the things he's been able to accomplish. He didn't go to college himself. You know, he was an avid reader. As far as all the people who talk about him, he just read everything he can get his hands on and wanted to learn and grow. And he was clearly, through, you know, the videos, you see that he's very faithful to his Christianity. And that comes out in a lot of his work as well. And he was unapologetic about it, and he was strong and firm on his beliefs. And whether you agreed with him or not, he was somebody to look up to as far as, you know, being able to challenge society.
Right. So if you haven't heard us talk about our like politics or whatever in the past, we try not to get too much into politics, but my own personal political view is that I'm a libertarian. I believe in private property rights and everyone's ability to own their own body and their own property, and that anyone that infringes on that is basically acting
in aggression
or in a criminal way.
Yeah.
So I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't agree with Charlie Kirk on a lot of his views.
Same.
It's okay not to agree with people.
Absolutely.
But once it goes to violence like this, once you put a violent end to someone who's such a public figure, whose purpose is to speak, to avoid violence, it seems it's dangerous. You know, it's a little scary because
it's setting a scary precedent.
While I'm a libertarian and I'm an extreme libertarian in that I'm an anarchist, I think we can get to a point of humanity where we don't have these violent monopolies called governments or states. I think we can be humanity and run without those things. But we have a state right now. We have a government. We have the United States of America. And it's not perfect. There's a lot of problems. And people on the left and people on the right see different problems. And there's different problems that they prioritize. over the last 10 or so years, the amount of vitriol, the amount of demonization of the other side has been ratcheting up, and both sides are guilty of it.
Absolutely.
But one side has been very aggressive about the violent rhetoric they've been using and continue to use over the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
Words like Nazi, words like fascist. You know, do you remember a number of years back, maybe, I don't remember when, there was this like internet meme, or there was this like meme going around about like it's okay to punch a Nazi, like punch a Nazi kind of thing.
Yeah. I do remember that.
That was a little before, if I recall correctly, the whole like Trump movement started.
Probably, yeah, just before then, but around then.
Yeah. And it's a weird thought experiment because it makes you... So if you could punch an actual Nazi, let's do this thought experiment.
Okay.
The only way to punch an actual Nazi is to be in the 1930s, 1940s. Because there are
the Nazis we are all assuming, yeah.
There are no real Nazis anymore.
Yeah.
There are people who profess themselves as neo-Nazis or whatever. There are people on the far extremes of the right that are, you know, try to take on that label proudly. And those are despicable people. But
they haven't acted on the words.
Well,
individuals have.
Sure. But the point I'm trying to make is, even if you were to punch one of those modern right-wing neo-Nazis, like, you're not really punching a Nazi, because that's not a Nazi. A Nazi is a person who was part of the German government.
Yeah.
Back in the Nazi
1930s
era,
and 40s.
Pre-World War II and World War II. Yeah. The Third Reich. And so everything else is sort of metaphorical, right? Like, you're trying to say that this modern person is basically the same as a Nazi when you call people fascists. Like, that's what that language is meant to invoke.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could go back and punch a Nazi, like, it wouldn't necessarily do anything to end the World War. It's not going to save all of the Jews because you punched some Nazi.
Right.
Like, there's a lot more to ending that evil than just going up and punching someone, right? It took multiple countries,
many years,
and lots of lives to put an end to that. But the sentiment, like the idea that it's essentially trying to set up like a moral question where, like, is it okay to punch the most evil person?
Right.
And then it's a weird thing to ask someone, because it's a bit of a trick question, because it's meant to get you thinking about doing violence and meant to get you thinking about, well, when is it okay to do violence? And when you're asking that question, you're kind of going down the wrong path.
Well, you're immediately opening yourself up to allowing yourself to do those types of things.
You're opening yourself up to manipulation, because if you can say easily, yeah, of course I'd punch a Nazi. Would you kill baby Hitler? Yeah.
Right.
Like, we're like these types of scenarios, right? Like, it's a way to get your brain thinking that there are certain scenarios when it's okay to use violence.
Right.
Unilaterally, just like go up to someone and punch them, right?
Right.
Well, then you combine that with the years of demonizing or using this like fascist and Nazi language against the right, against Trump specifically, but the whole right, starting mostly as Trump and then expanding to be anyone who would vote for him, anyone who is part of his political cause is basically the same. Well, now you have basically half the country that this moral question gives you permission to go commit violence against. And if you find yourself there, that's a really dark place to be, and someone is manipulating you. You are falling to
words,
a violent message, and it's you need to take a look at your beliefs and why, when and why and where it's actually okay to use violence. You need to really think about that, because whatever answer you give to those questions should apply to everyone, not just to you. So if it's okay for you to say that certain people who you disagree with or who have such reprehensible views, it's okay to commit violence on them, well, you have to understand that from the opposite perspective, that person may see you as someone similarly reprehensible, and do you want them to think they can use violence against you?
Right.
And if your answer to that is, I don't care, well, essentially now you're like going down a road where essentially like this leads to civil war. This leads to terrible, terrible, terrible things happening in this country. I don't think a lot of people really
fully grasp that idea, yeah.
Or have an appreciation of what that would be like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because it won't be like the last Civil War. The last Civil War wasn't even really a civil war. It was half of the country leaving, seceding, starting their own country, and then the other half going to war with them to say, no, you can't leave. And so it actually played out like a war with armies and borders and like that's not civil war. That's war.
Mm-hmm.
We've never actually had that
as well.
A real civil war here.
Yeah.
Because a real civil war means that everyone around you, like your neighbor, you don't know what side they're on. If you find yourself in one of these cities where there's people, a pretty wide distribution of people on both sides of the viewpoints, I mean, you could be walking down the street and someone may have like climbed to the top of a church and sit in the bell tower and just picking people off, right? Like it means there's no security anymore. Like there's no guarantee of safety.
Yeah. There's no like relatively like clear assumption of safety when you go out into public at all anymore.
Right.
You put yourself outside your house, you are now could be potentially painted as a target from either side.
And whether or not what you believe, if you just look like someone who believes the wrong thing, or if someone gets an impression for whatever reason that isn't in your control because it's their impression, that you have beliefs that they are concerned about, you could be the target of an act of violence. It breaks down trust in families, it breaks down trust in communities, it breaks down institutions, and everything you rely on for your safety, your security, your happiness is all gone because you can't trust any of it, and you just never know
when the next attack will be, or when
And
even the fear of it. The fear of what could happen can be debilitating.
Absolutely.
Even if it's not actually happening around you, just the fear of what it means, that will get people just locked in their houses just on the face of it.
And then as it gets worse, more and more people die, more and more people lose brothers and husbands and kids, and more people get more angry because of the loss they're suffering, then they get more involved, and then the thing just starts getting out of control until everyone feels that tragedy in their life. And it's not something we should desire. It's not better than what we have now, because what we have now is so evil or fascist. Like, it can get a million times worse.
Absolutely.
For everyone.
And these, you think that what is going to happen is going to break down the government. No, there's going to be groups of power that come in and try to take. Like, if you get to a point where it's full out civil war, you're going to have groups.
There's going to be factions.
And companies and all these things that are going to have paramilitaries and militaries, and they're going to come into your area and strike domains of under their control. These things, in other countries seem so far-fetched, but we just got to keep treating everybody with humility and respect, and understand that nobody is ever going to be 100% on agreement about everything.
Yeah, and
you got to continue the conversation and figure out what it is that we all want as a collective group of humans in this region of Earth, on this planet, spinning through the galaxies. Like,
I have major issues with the government. I'm an anarchist, right? Like basically everything the government does, I'm against. But I don't advocate going around just like picking off government people.
No, not at all.
Because
it's bigger than any
to
individual.
Chaos, and we need some sort of semblance of decency and order, which comes from our agreement with each other that we solve issues by talking, not by fighting.
Absolutely.
That's the basis of what allows this thin veneer of our dysfunctional society to exist as it is. And if we stop agreeing to be nonviolent and to solve our issues through talking, that's when violence is going to erupt and it's going to get worse. And I'm pretty scared of it, honestly, because
it's a real possibility.
I see a lot of people doing what I hope everyone will do, and taking this as a reason to pray, a reason to reflect, a reason to slow down and
think about your actions and think about your words.
Right. But there are people on both sides who are
happy to
escalate this and are celebrating. People on the left are celebrating. People on the right are saying, well, let's declare the left as
enemy number one,
terrorists and round them up. Both sides of that are dark and ugly, and we don't want to go down that road.
No, certainly not.
Anyway, that's
slippery slope.
That's all kind of my first set of thoughts about all this.
Well, maybe we finish this segment with that clip I had brought I just put it in at the end. I don't know if you actually got it prepared or not.
Which one was it?
It's the last one I put in there. Charlie making a prediction.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah, let's finish this segment off with this. That's not it.
This isn't it?
No. Oh yeah, no, that is it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Confusing me, brother.
My bad.
All right, let's check this out. Why is this not updating?
I don't know.
Hang on, guys.
Charlie Kirk presidency 15 years from now?
No. I mean, I'm enjoying myself, but this is going to get really nasty. Everyone listen to this. I just hope you understand. They're going to be coming after us. They're going to be following us in the middle of the night. They're going to be breaking into our houses. You think I'm joking? They're going to be violent. That you will not be able to walk the streets of the MAGA hat without your physical health be put in jeopardy. And I hope it doesn't get that way. I hope that this clip gets unearthed and everything's like wonderful. I hope that the country comes together and we have a beautiful Unitarian healing moment in September.
That's it.
I wonder when that was from. Dang.
15 years ago, or he's saying presidency in 15 years. He's eligible. He would have been eligible to run for president in 4 years.
Right.
Well, 3 years, because he turned 32 this year. He would have turned 32 in October, I heard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it would have been 3 years from now. So he would have actually been eligible for the next election.
Dang.
And
I mean, I take him at his word that that's not what he wanted.
Of course,
But
I don't, but you see the writing on the wall, and you see the types of things that are happening to him and to other people of, within his organization. And, it's just, and it happens on both sides. We don't want to paint this as a one-sided thing, but clearly there is more direct and I guess more popular, more of the news media and their anchors or their people are spreading and saying specific words, like you were saying, that like get people to disarm their logical brain in order to have these thought experiments that aren't really thought experiments. They're more brainwashing or like some sort of like takeover of the limbic system. It's just, I don't know what else to say.
Well,
it's crazy to see.
Yeah, let's take our first break and then, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I've got an interesting clip to play on the intro that I didn't prepare either, but we'll prepare it on the break. So,
okay.
Enjoy this, and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Welcome back.
All right. So yeah, like I was saying, we got a clip prepared that I think will be quite fitting for this. This is Pete Holmes. We had shown a video of him last week as well.
Okay. Let's check this out.
I don't believe it. Date someone who calls you dummy.
No,
you know what I mean?
Over.
Ooh, just,
there you go.
Words have power.
or if you don't believe it, date someone who calls you dummy. You know what I mean? Ooh, they're just sounds from a mammal. No, they're not. They're spells. We're casting spells on each other. I do this on stage as a stand-up sometimes. I point to someone in the front row, I go, that's a great shirt. You made a great choice of that shirt. And you can see, even though they know I'm just kind of joking around or making a point, it works. Sometimes I like to call other people me. This me is begging for change. This me is driving me to the airport. I find that useful. That's a way that language can... It's very trippy, and I don't expect everybody to sort of like sign on and start doing that. But I do it privately, especially if anybody's serving you or helping you, or you think you're like, oh, this is the flight attendant. No, this me just brought me a Sprite. Thank you. That me's doing great. Looks nice. Instead of going, this flight attendant, look, that's a label we made so we feel okay about yelling at them that there should be more overhead space. No, that me is doing my best. Words have power. If you don't...
That's a cool way to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just another reminder that, you know, everybody has their own things, and if, you know, to see them more humanly, to like project yourself a bit onto them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can't just judge people flatly without knowing them.
Yeah,
and having these conversations with people, you know, it's just a recipe for, you know, misunderstanding, and
this is why I like the work
dehumanization.
Of Daryl Cooper.
Yeah,
because if you've never heard of him, he's got a really great podcast called the Martyr Made podcast, and he does these history podcasts on these really dark times. He's got one on the conflict between Israel and Palestine. He's got
going way back, yeah.
Jim Jones, the whole drinking the Kool-Aid guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a bunch of them, but he specifically won't start a series unless he feels that he could legitimately see, like, if he can legitimately feel that he has an understanding of how a person got to a point of doing something despicable.
Yeah, seeing
like
both sides.
He has to be able to understand their motivations before he'll start.
Yeah, his Jim Jones one is insane.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway through that series, and like he spends a lot of time setting up and letting people understand Jim Jones' early days, not like as a child, but like him as a prominent figure in the culture, and being a civil rights activist, and all the different things that he was a part of as a young man, you know, in his late teens and early 20s, you know, the things he had to live through, and the things that he saw, and the things that he accomplished as such a young person. It's all stuff that gives you more than just like...
It's an important exercise. Like, you have to be able to see from the opposing side's point of view.
Yeah.
Not only even, but especially if you find them despicable, because they're still human beings and there's still a reason that they got to where they're at. So even if you find them despicable, especially if you find them despicable,
it's important.
It's important to understand how they got there.
If not just to prevent yourself or others around you from getting to that same place.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just too easy to label and to dehumanize.
Yep.
And that typically just
dismiss.
leads to a escalation of violence. Anyway. So I'd like to talk a little bit about basically I want to show a little bit about what's been going on the left since this happened. So after Charlie was shot, it took until, a press conference 2 days later where they announced that they had arrested Tyler Robinson. But for the rest of the 10th and all of the 11th, he was actually arrested the night of the 11th, but it wasn't announced until the next day. So for the 10th and the 11th, the public didn't know who was responsible for this. I think everyone kind of had assumptions that it was someone of the left.
Right.
I know everyone on the right thought that. I think even most people on the left probably thought that it was
somebody
one of them.
Somebody who, believed in their agenda.
Yeah. And so the narratives on that side kind of went through a couple like renditions, and there's a couple different versions. There's the outright celebration, which I find pretty reprehensible.
It's very disgusting. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, but I think we need to. So I brought a clip with like a cut of different people celebrating, and I think it's important to see this.
Absolutely.
So let's check this out.
I have breaking news. We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh, ah, ooh.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
There are some people on this app that are sitting there saying, oh, you shouldn't wish death upon any person, no matter what side they're on. Fuck that. Fuck that. Charlie Kirk was a fucking Nazi. He was a fucking Nazi. And you know what kind of Nazi is the best Nazi? A dead one.
Gather around, bitches. Let's all join hands and bow our heads in thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk. Thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
I'm not sad. It's about time Karma took out that trash.
Charlie Kirk was a big advocate for the Second Amendment. It worked out well for him.
The best part of this whole goddamn thing is that he is not martyr material, so his death will mean nothing. It will activate no one. It will impact few. It's just great.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy that people would think like their first thought, I'm gonna go film myself celebrating.
Yeah, so like we have
the death of a human being.
Yeah, we have a couple things going on here, right? Like we have some people who legitimately feel this way, and then we have that mixed with this internet attention culture where people want to be seen, right?
Yeah.
And so...
And they know their audience.
Right. They just went on and people were dancing on his grave immediately. And that's just a snippet of them. They're all over the place.
There's hundreds, if not thousands.
But that's not everyone on the left.
Of course.
And there's also people who have a slightly different approach to it, and I want to talk about that next because we've kind of already covered this point of view. So let's check this out real quick.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated, but I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half staff, calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist and spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land. And hearing people with selective rage who were mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home, tell me I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry, but there's nowhere in Bible where we are taught to honor evil. And how you die does not redeem how you lived. You do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life. I can abhor the violence that took your life, but I don't have to celebrate how you chose to live. I am overwhelmed. Charlie Kirk did not deserve.
This is sort of, I think, represents a larger chunk of the left, this sort of view.
I'm assuming that was at a church.
Yeah. This was sent to me by someone on the left. And this is sort of their point of view, is that they still see Charlie Kirk as an evil person, as a abhorrent individual with hate-filled views, but they don't think he should have been killed. And they don't celebrate his death, but they're not exactly sad, you know, right?
Yeah, they're not outright being like, oh, we're happy he's dead, but they're just taking it. The problem I have with this,
go ahead,
is it's clearly, why not say nothing? If you just are not sad about it and you're just like, why not just like, why bring it up at all then if you're not happy in some sense of the word or meaning that it happened? Like addressing it in this way at all when you're not just outright condemning the violence and leaving it at that, for another day to have the conversation about who the man was, and his views.
Yeah,
you know, that's the thing that strikes me is like humanity. The humanity is lost in this, in my view,
right?
Because it's not showing your disdain for the act of violence. It's showing that you care more about talking about the man that you disagreed with than the violence upon him, whether you agree with him or not.
I mean, this point of view I struggle with a little more because I kind of agree. Like, if someone actually is evil, right? Like the day Hitler was killed, right?
A lot of people cheered it, obviously.
Sure, and I still don't necessarily think that's appropriate then. But this type of approach is a lot more reasonable.
I agree.
So if there's someone that's like clear cut evil, the thing is like, what standard are you using to apply that and to attribute that evil to somebody? So clearly Hitler meets that cutoff, but what are your criteria that allow someone like Charlie Kirk into the club of evil?
Being labeled a Nazi, a fascist, and all these things.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of misinterpretations of things he said. I think for a lot of people, they only ever saw quotes or snippets taken out of context of what he said and believed.
Of course, yeah. And that's the nature of social media, and that's the nature of the way people receive their news. But the thing is like, when you allow somebody who is just exercising their freedom of speech, whether you agree with them or not, it doesn't give you the right to just call them with the exercise of, punching a Nazi, right? The actual Nazis of the 30s and 40s in Germany, of the German government, they had acted upon their beliefs in such a way that killed millions of people. A person like Charlie, who is 30 years old, who has started companies and, maybe helping somebody become a president of the United States with a younger generation, they did not act on, they're not speaking about murdering people and then go and murder people, right? There's a very clear line between a Nazi or fascist of the 1930s and 40s that they are referring to.
Right.
That there's no, it's like the, what you're talking about before with that same exercise is like, it just gives you an excuse to do something or say something horrible about somebody when they are just another human being doing the same, exercising the same freedoms that you are enjoying at that exact moment. That's all they were doing, was speaking their mind.
Right.
You're doing the same thing.
Right. Should you be killed
by
someone who thinks that you're a terrorist now?
Right. And I get that their view or their way of expressing it was more tolerable, but it doesn't excuse the fact that you're not outright condemning the violence firsthand before just trying to smear the man.
Right.
That could be saved for another sermon at another date.
Mm-hmm.
You say, hey, we are here to condemn violence, no matter what, no matter whom, no matter what they're saying. If they're not the actual people who are involved in genocide or, mass murder, why, they're not even condemning the shooter in that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just crazy to me that that's their first. I agree that it is more tolerable, but I just disagree with the approach. I was just sickened because what we were talking about earlier, this opens, like Columbine did, like these school shootings did. This opens the door for people, copycats or otherwise, to do these things. And if we aren't going to sit and completely condemn this type of thing and actually do something about that, it's going to become normalized.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a horrible reality that I don't want to live in.
Right. I mean, of course, I went around and listened to all my favorite shows and people I know from multiple sides of the spectrum to get their responses and what they thought. And one of the shows I listened to was Tim Pool, and his reaction was that, part of the conversation was that we've entered this era now, and he is canceling his live events. That it's just, he doesn't feel safe doing things in person anymore, and he's gonna stick to his studio.
And that is the purpose of what that person did on that college campus that day.
Right.
Was shutting down freedom of speech, in-person conversations with people. Now it's going to have to all resort to being online. And the people who do it in person are risking more than they know,
Did you see his wife Emily's speech
on Breaking Points?
No, she gave a speech.
Emily who?
Charlie's wife.
Oh, Erica.
Erica. It was E. Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you see it though?
After? I haven't seen her.
Yeah,
she gave a speech.
She gave a speech on the Charlie Kirk's YouTube. They did a live.
Oh, really?
And she said that she's not going to stop and she's not going to let the shooter win, and she's going to pick up his mission and keep running with it, and they're going to keep doing the tours, and they're going to not miss any dates, and she's going to that she's not going to let this defeat her. So I thought it was really powerful. I'll leave a link to it.
Yeah.
I
wish I had seen it.
So sad too, man, because she talked about when she got home after bringing his body home, and she saw her daughter. It was like, "Where's Daddy?" Because she didn't understand yet.
No,
you know?
She doesn't get it. She just thinks he's not home yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Being a father of two, and just thinking of the reality of that, and like he was a father of two, he was a leader of a company, and a husband and a son, and like no matter how vile a person you may feel somebody is, right?
That doesn't give you the right to take a father away from his children.
No.
A husband away from his wife.
Because it's all your opinion. Like, there's so much, circular reasoning and people who just are in little bubbles in online spheres, and they aren't willing or they've never been taught to or face reality enough to see the other side and where they are coming from, and where everybody just wants to live a peaceful life with meaning, and where they can provide for their family and their kids, and leave the world a better than they found it for their children and the children after them. And like, that is the true what everybody really seeks, whether you can admit it or not. Even the people who are extremists, like, they think they are doing right. Like, the people of the past who have committed great genocides and done all these horrible things literally think they are doing, what's right for humanity and what's right for everybody. They think they are right. It's allowing people to get to a point where they're willing to commit mass murders and genocides. Like, that starts at a foundational level within a state. Once you stop conversing with your enemies, with the people you disagree with, it starts right there, where you start dehumanizing your opponent, and that's what happened all throughout history with all these great wars, whether they were not allowed to speak to each other or just dehumanized each the other side of the argument. That's where it comes from. And there are many governments and institutions and otherwise that are going to capitalize on that, because it's easier to rule when you have people who are fighting amongst themselves.
Right.
It's easier to continue the horror when you have a population who is only worried about what's going on online. It's just sad to see, because it has nothing to do with being a Republican or Democrat. It's a human being exercising their rights. That's why I think a lot of people, whatever side of the spectrum, I even saw a post from one of the people who actively goes and challenges Charlie Kirk, goes to his conferences, asks questions, debates him online or offline, in person.
Yeah, I wanted to save one of those too.
I know, I watched a few of those, but they were crying. They were like, dude, this is the worst thing that could have possibly happened.
Right.
Not only is a human being
I know
dead.
Hassan is one of the streamers who had that sort of reaction that this is
There's another guy
terrible.
I knew
Hassan
his name.
actually had a debate scheduled with Charlie Kirk coming up in like a couple weeks.
But there was another guy who was like another...
he's a big YouTuber guy, and he was crying.
Yeah, he was crying and like actively, talking about how this is horrible for everybody. This isn't a left or right problem. This is a killing of the freedom of speech.
So I want to propose a new division, if you will, rather than these left and right and whatnot. Like, those things still exist, whatever, but
they're going to continue to exist, no matter what.
But can we just take stock within yourselves of, are you a person who does not condone violence for political means? Because if you are a person who would prefer to solve our problems with peace, regardless of what side you're on,
we can work with that.
Then we have more in common with each other than we do with someone of your own party who would rather resort to violence.
Absolutely.
We can work together, and you can't work with that person.
Absolutely.
Because that person's going to undercut everything that you want to achieve.
Absolutely.
So if the day comes that this continues to escalate into war,
there needs to be a clear...
We need to be able to understand and identify the people who believe in peace, because we may be the only ones that could stop that. And whether you're on the left or on the right, when you see people using violent rhetoric or getting worked up about this and trying to say who's next or trying to say what do we do in response, you as the person who believes in peace, like, it's your responsibility to try and talk that person down, tone them down a little bit, de-escalate it a little bit. And if we can do that, maybe we have some hope for the future.
At least we can avoid something more terrible than what we're prepared to actually live through.
Right.
In reality.
Right.
All right. Well, let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll continue with this. And I think we got a handful more clips to go through. And
yeah, I got a pretty long one, but we don't have to watch it all. But I think we should skip through the chapters because it's a guy going through the misconceptions of Charlie Kirk and going through them one at a time, and what the like little snippet meme of it is, and then what the actual context.
The out of context and with the context.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah. All right, let's take a break. We'll see y'all in a couple minutes.
All right.
I'm going to America. French fries. Sky's the limit, that's what they say.
Your love.
Hey.
I do.
Let's go, John. One take.
I do need.
Hey. Yeah, this is the story of life and love, growing up, Manila born. Yeah. See, they don't call me Manila born for nothing. And it's only the beginning. Hey, yo. Imagine me packing my clothes, ready to go, not knowing if I'll see this place again. My life hasn't been the same since then. I was only 10 and innocent, without a cent of sense, so it's about to begin. A journey that can never end, I'm jumping on a plane. The American dream, the place I've only seen on the TV screens. I remember leaving, knowing that I won't come back. The kids from my block asking for the clothes on my back, cause they know I got a chance that most people would die for. Grab my passport, say my goodbye. Fast forward 16 hours later, I can see the lights of San Francisco. My new home, my new life, imagine that. Couldn't believe it, even the breeze that evening smells so brand new. Imagine what that could do to a kid like you, with nothing to lose and everything to gain. I jumped off of the plane, feeling like a king, I think I made it. Yeah, I think I made it, mama. I think I made it, papa. And we're here now. Yeah. It was only the beginning, fam. For all of us. Check. I met my parents for the only very ever second time that day. Living away, slaving away for us to make that plan, right? And every day I do the same to make it right and make sure my kids one day will never have to face the fight that we did. If that ain't real, then what is? And if I don't care, then who will? I mean, I've been dying to live, grinding like hustling for bills, so fuck a deal. I'm just trying to make a living. I'm just blessed and thankful that you actually listen. It's life. Yeah, I think I made it, mama. I think I made it, papa. And we're here now. I'm finally going back. Manila, born. You see, my story's just like yours. From the bottom, from nothing, whatever you want to call it. I came to America when I was 11 years old, not knowing what to expect, but my family came with me on that plane, and who would have thought? My parents sacrificed their whole life for us to be here. And it's the first generation of my last name. I gotta make sure I represent. And I'm speaking for the voice of everyone that's trying to make it. No matter what it is, where you're immigrating from, whatever home you call. You're Manila born too. So anyways, I landed in San Francisco. Eventually landed in Sacramento, then back over San Francisco again, San Diego, and now I'm back home in Roseville, California, recording an Uprock audio. To all the relationships I've ever had with friends and families, it's brought me here now. And I feel like it's a coming out party. That's why I wanted to name it The Born Experience, because I make beats or whatever and I rap, I do all of it. But I've never really got a chance to tell my story, and somewhat that, so I appreciate you taking time and listening all the way. Once again, welcome to The Born Experience, and this is only the beginning. Shout out to Uprock Audio, my family, and to you. Yeah.
Welcome back.
Shout out to you, Carlo.
Yeah, dude, that's a good song. All right, so what I want to do is go into this video here.
All right.
It's an hour long, so we can't definitely can't get through it all, but I think it'll. I don't know. I found it to be pretty. I don't know. I think people need to hear it. Let's just say it that way.
And I know you said you were going to skip through the chapters here a bit and kind of go over certain things, but we'll leave a link here in the episode for everybody to go check out the whole hour-long video themselves.
Yeah, I want to let him get through most of his introduction, and then he goes into chapters here on different points of view that people thought that Charlie had that aren't exactly being represented fairly.
Okay.
So, yeah, here we go. This is Amir Odom on YouTube. Oh, dang it. It's doing it again. What's going on with that today?
We'll have to fix that next week, but
yeah,
we're having to refresh it every time.
There we go.
There we go. There you are, Amir.
All right, here we go.
The purpose of this video is to serve as a tool to combat all the lies and misinformation that is commonly being spread right now about Charlie Kirk. And it's ironic because someone like Charlie Kirk is oftentimes called racist and homophobic, yet he's one of the main reasons this YouTube channel that you're watching right now even exists in the first place. He knew the young gay black Amir in 2018 and strongly advocated him to be more vocal online and spread his thoughts and to always seek the truth. Not even one day after the event, it was one day, the night of the first event I ever gone to in 2018 where I met Charlie Kirk for the first time, that I started being vocal online. And here we are today. And to this day, I still have one of the hats he even gave me. So I feel like this video is necessary because that's all Charlie ever did and pushed me to do and push everyone to do, is to seek out the truth. So I want to put the truth in his words in a very articulate manner. You can go through this video chapter by chapter, and it hits a lot of different marks and topics and things that are currently being said about Charlie Kirk. And me and Charlie, we've had our disagreements, and that's all they ever were. We're just disagreements, because you're allowed to disagree with somebody. You're allowed not to agree 100% with somebody that you're talking to or you're an associate with. And if someone sent you this video and you're new to me, you have no idea who I am, you have no idea, or you've just only heard the things about Charlie Kirk, I really do hope that throughout this video you are listening to understand rather than listening to respond. At least for this video, just listening to understand why so many people loved Charlie Kirk. They say he's racist, but why are so many black people upset that Charlie Kirk has passed? They say he's homophobic, but why are so many gay people upset that Charlie Kirk passed? They say he's misogynistic. Well, why are so many women sad that Charlie Kirk has passed? They say he's transphobic. Why are there even trans people sad that Charlie Kirk has passed? They say he's a white nationalist. Well, why are so many black, Hispanics, Asians, the list goes on, anyone that's not white, very upset that Charlie Kirk has passed? If any of those terms were real about Charlie Kirk, then why on earth do all the same people that were commonly being told he hates loves and supports him? Just stop for 1 second, just 1 second. Stop listening to mainstream media. Stop listening to your friend groups. Stop listening to your echo chambers in social media, which even I myself in, and I try my best to, get away from echo chambers. Just stop being told how to think. And yeah, you're watching this video and I'm helping debunk the lies, but it's with his words and with full context, of which most people are not getting. Like, that's the one thing I learned from Charlie the most back in 2017, 2018, when I was really, all my worldview and my thoughts are being challenged. Watching his content and even getting the chance to meet him was just, seeking the truth for myself. I listened to my friends, I listened to my favorite influencers and creators, but I always defaulted to my own research and deep research, really understanding what they were saying and why. And it's hard. It destructs your worldview. It's challenging. It is, but it's needed. We have to stop and think for ourselves. Like, truly, again, I can't stress this enough. Everything that they say Charlie is, there's a group of people for each term that absolutely adore him and miss him. Why? That's what this video is about. This is exactly what Charlie always pushed me to do. And this is what I feel like is missing right now in this discourse about who this man is, especially from the left, the party of love, inclusivity, positivity, the list goes on. If that is the case, why are things like this being displayed? Why are things like this being promoted right now? Why are things like this being said? You don't see that type of behavior on the right. You don't. Hell, even the center, you don't. You just don't. Like, again, you're listening to a black gay man who used to be so far on the left, crying in the streets, and now I'm more center right, admittedly, because of my own research that I've done. People think I grew up so privileged. I've been homeless before. I've been sent to conversion therapy. Like, there's so much to me and my story. So like let's get any pre-notions about who I am and what I do, get those out. Okay, this video is for the person that I once was, who was lost in this realm, in this mainstream media, in this news cycle, not knowing what to believe, where to go. That's when I make content like this. Again, this party of love, inclusivity, positivity, it's everything but. There's this massive wave, and we'll get into that in another video, but there's this massive wave of people leaving the left. You don't see it that much from the right, and there's a reason for that. You think about George Floyd in 2020. George Floyd passed, and in response to George Floyd dying was a summer of riots, $2 billion in damage, and over 30 people killed. We lose Charlie Kirk, and the only thing that's happening is vigils and people mourning, and then everybody on the left very happy and ecstatic that Charlie has passed. Not to say there weren't people making jokes about Floyd. That I'm not saying that wasn't the case, but at this caliber, insanity. We were hearing things like, where was this energy when the Democrat died in June? Okay, you're right. Where was this energy? Ever since Charlie Kirk died, you have had thousands of videos of people celebrating his death. You have teachers, like college teachers, professors, deans losing their jobs because they are promoting and applauding assassins. Yet the right didn't have that energy when a Democrat died. One mainstream Republican, I believe, did or said some harsh things. But again, it wasn't to this caliber. It wasn't at this level of people making fun of someone's death, applauding someone's death, and just the thing that we're seeing right now doesn't reflect you or just the average person out there. Do not become the hate you claim to fight. Don't do it. Don't. As we go through this video, I want you to keep in mind some key things and just some things to have in the back of your head regarding who actively calls for and promotes political violence.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
If they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He on the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
We're only one third through this video, and I'm done playing it because it just keeps going on. All these news outlets, left wing, CNN, MSNBC, all these news pundits literally calling for violence. You know, words have meaning. You're calling someone, even myself, every day, get called racist, homophobic, transphobic, bigot, Nazi. I've been called it all. Like you destroy the meanings of these words and you just throw them out nonstop. You really do. And when politicians do things like this, it boils my blood. Not even just politicians, but mainstream pundits and political commentators. I've never like there are some fringe people out there, but on this level, this mainstream, on the right, calling for violence in this manner, no. You don't see it. You just don't. And the lies. There's so many out there that we'll go through, but we're going to focus on Charlie Kirk for this video. But here's an inkling. Here's just one example of a small lie that is like, it's one card in a house of cards of lies that they have built, that they present as the mainstream media. It's hard to look at the news for a lot of people and think, well, they're all lying to me, but it's the little lies that just add up and add up and add up, that just like, when you step away from that and you look at it from a clear lens, you're like, oh shit, like what is really going on? The quote that I'm gonna pull up is from advocate.com, and the title is "Reactions to Far-Right Activist Charlie Kirk's Death Pour In Across the Political World." And they have a section here from GLAAD, G-L-A-A-D. It's a LGBTQ rights nonprofit organization. Where it gets crazy to me is right here. GLAAD stressed the extent to which Kirk and Turning Point USA promoted anti-LGBTQ plus narratives. The group highlighted Turning Point College's campus campaigns featuring speakers such as Riley Gaines, Chloe Cole, and Pastor Jensen Yu, who regularly spoke against transgender people. You guys, Chloe Cole's trans. Chloe Cole was a trans minor that got a double mastectomy as a minor and actively speaks out against transitioning minors so that they did not have to go through all the medical defects and mental turmoil that Chloe Cole is now going through because she was sent down the right to transition as a minor.
I was medicalized starting with puberty blockers and then testosterone at the age of 13. I went on to have a double mastectomy at 15.
You have GLAAD, this gay organization, calling Chloe Cole anti-trans people. They're literally... That's just one example, you guys. That's just one example. Again, I show all this and I'm saying all this because this is what Charlie inspired me to do. It's what he told me to do. And I'm very honored and I'm very thankful for the interactions that I've had with him in the past. Truth matters. context matters, and I hope that you walk away from this video with at least a more open mind and understanding on why so many people genuinely love the things he had to say and how he operated and moved through this realm. Regardless.
So yeah, let's start with that. What do you think?
I mean, it's pretty well said so far. It's a good intro. Yeah, I mean, that first clip you showed there of I've heard about that story. The Natalie, was it Natalie or that person at the end there?
Oh, Chloe Cole.
Chloe Cole, yeah. I don't know why I thought Natalie. Yeah, Chloe Cole, I've heard of that story before and how she had been speaking out against transitioning minors. And it's just, like you were saying, one example of, the misinformation that you might gain or you might get from watching one singular clip.
Right.
From Charlie saying that or other people within his organization saying that they're against trans stuff.
Yeah, so that headline in that first paragraph that he shared on that story where it called her anti-trans activist, that's the type of thing where it makes it so that if something comes up with her in the future, right?
Yeah.
Someone may Google her name and that story pop up, and then they read that the newspaper calls her that. And then you can say, okay, well,
it's true.
It's true. That's what this says that she is. So that's what I think that she is. And so therefore F her.
Right.
Right. And that's the type of third-hand information that we have to be careful of. Just because something comes from a media outlet, just because something comes from
quote-unquote trusted sources.
Right. You still have to look into things a little bit deeper on your own.
Yeah.
And see what the person says for themselves. I'm sorry,
at the very least. Yeah,
the very least you can do before you decide to hate somebody or you decide that person is worthy of your disapproval or your contempt is, look at that person's own words, read an article by that person, listen to a speech by them, hear who they are in their own words. And not just a little snippet,
and not rely on the third party person who is
don't
probably
let someone
going to have
else
some sort of agenda behind it.
Right. Don't let someone else tell you what that person is.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks to say that it's obvious, but it's just not happening.
Yeah.
In general, with a lot of people, they're just not taking the time to do that kind of surface level research.
All right, so now we're going to go into some of the different chapters here where he goes over specific things that Charlie Kirk has been quoted out of context for.
All right.
In this video, I'm going to be recapping all the things that are currently being said and discussed about Charlie Kirk, starting off with gun rights.
You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
And this is important because it's a clip that's kind of like a gotcha. Well, Charlie called for this. He asked for this. No, he did not. There's a strong difference between advocating for gun rights because you can protect yourself, but your personal safety, and also from a tyrannical government, versus the right for mentally ill people to commit political assassinations. There's a major difference, and obviously there's some context that goes into that. He's not advocating for political assassins to take place. He's not advocating for crazy people to just go out there and be shooting people willy-nilly. No. He's acknowledging the fact that some shootings will happen, but we also can acknowledge that this assassination of Charlie Kirk is bigger than just a random shooting. That's not what this is. This is a planned and targeted attack. That's what that was. It was an attempt to silence this growing, this extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all the Second Amendment was to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government. That's what it was actually meant in the Constitution. It was meant to protect ourselves from the event that a government was to take force against its population.
Or just slowly grow more and more tyrannical to the point where we need to throw them off.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't even like he had said in some of his other, speeches as well. It was like, it's not about hunting. It's not about sport. It's not about, protecting yourself from the person who might attack you. It's about protecting yourself from the government being tyrannical. And
he talks about it in one of his things, or I'm not sure if it was this video or which one that was summarizing him, that was saying he would make this comparison to cars, like 50,000 people die a year from car accidents or whatever, right? And I don't know what the actual number is. I'm just making that up. And we could get rid of cars
and save 50,000
lives a year. But so 50,000 lives a year is the cost of having cars as it is right now, right?
Right.
And you don't see anyone advocating to get rid of all cars to save 50,000 lives.
There might be a few, but
maybe.
No, generally as a population, we're not.
That's not some big political topic that's on the discussion,
right?
Because we know that there are benefits that we get from driving, and unfortunately, we want to do everything we can to minimize that number.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that there's a cost associated.
Yep.
And furthermore, and I don't know that this is Charlie's point, but I'll take it there. If you were to completely ban cars, I think more than 50,000 people would die as a result of that, because you wouldn't have food traveling between cities.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't be able to travel to work anywhere further than you could walk.
Right.
Or ride a horse. If we went back to horses,
or even bicycles,
all the diseases that would come along with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's
not realistic.
It's not. There is a cost, and sometimes you have to consider whether that cost is worth it. In certain cases, it is, and it's dark. And it's not,
because you have to face reality, right? You have to face the reality of, I am for cars, knowing that there are going to be this amount of deaths a year.
Right. And that's what Charlie's point is that he knows that there's nothing that can be done to stop people from shootings from happening.
Yeah.
You can't stop them all.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean you get rid of guns, because there's a very important reason why it's our Second Amendment. Is very important.
And it's not advocating for the violence of gun deaths.
Right.
It is saying it's an unfortunate reality of having the freedom to bear arms.
Right.
I mean, it's as simple as that. As dark as it may seem, and as harsh as it may seem, it is a reality.
Yeah. All right, let's do the next one.
Yeah.
That works. Empathy. Now, there's also a clip that's going around of Charlie Kirk talking about his opinions on the word empathy, and let's just hear what he has to say.
The new communication strategy is not to do what Bill Clinton used to do, where he would say, I feel your pain. Instead, it is to say, you're actually not in pain. So let's just, very short clip. Bill Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but it is very effective when it comes to politics. Sympathy I prefer more than empathy. That's a separate topic for a different time.
Important. At the end, he says, sympathy is what I prefer more than the word empathy, because he feels like empathy is a word that's being taken advantage of, and it is.
Yeah, so
it's an interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there is a difference
Mm-hmm.
It is true that sometimes like I actually can like feel pain based on what I'm seeing someone else go through.
Sure.
But that is sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
Because actual empathy assumes you're feeling the same thing they are.
Right.
And that's pretty presumptuous because you can't, no matter, I can't feel what Charlie's wife is going through.
Right.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Like I can try to, and I can
imagine what it might be like.
Yeah. And just the imagining like hurts my soul for her. Right. But
it's not the same pain.
It's not the same, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a difference between empathy and sympathy.
Absolutely.
And yeah. So I saw this going around a lot online too, as part of the points against Charlie is that he doesn't believe in empathy, so I don't have any empathy for him.
Which you may not, but you can have sympathy.
Yeah. Anyway, let's do the next one, and then I think we're ready for a break. Actually, we're ready for a break, but let's do the next one.
All right.
Revealed gay people.
I'm a gay conservative, and I just want to ask you, what do you have to say for people like me who kind of feel like, I guess, it's kind of hard for gay conservatives because there's not a lot of us. So, like, what do you have to say to other gay people who need to realize, like, they do have a choice? Like,
Yeah, first of all, welcome to the conservative movement. I don't think you should introduce yourself.
Oh, it's doing it again. Yeah. Let me refresh that for you guys. Okay.
Just based on your sexual attractions.
No, I agree. I like
because that's not who you are.
I like to be thought of as a person, and
for sure, you are a complete human being, and I'm sure you treat people well, and you're studying something. So I want to get away with this idea that you're gay anything. I just think that we have gone a long way in the negative direction in this country, where we act as if the most important part of your identity is what you do in the bedroom. It doesn't mean that much to me, but if you ask from a perspective as a Christian, I don't agree with that lifestyle, but politics is about addition and multiplication. I imagine you agree with a lot of what we talk about.
Absolutely.
Right? Strong borders, strong country, and for that, we welcome you into the conservative movement.
Thank you.
That's who they call homophobic. Oh, well, he said he doesn't agree with that lifestyle and he doesn't like gay marriage. That's fine. You don't have to think 100% with me on board, and just because you don't like what gay people do doesn't mean I'm going to write you off as a bigot, homophobic person and then like boom, it's not going to talk to you for the rest of my life. No. Do you have any idea how gay Turning Point is? With all due respect. Do you have any idea how many gay people is employed there? Any idea how many gay influencers have been on Turning Point's platform? Like, I can't comprehend this idea that he's this homophobic bigot just because he is very fond of his religion and he doesn't think two guys should be able to get married. There's a lot of people that think that. I personally think the government should just be out of marriage completely. But again, I'm not going to write somebody.
I agree with that.
Yeah, 100%.
And
yeah, I mean that's just another great example of him being strong and like, hey, I don't agree with you personally as far as your choices, but you told me that you're a gay person, so now you want me to address you as such, you know?
Yeah, well, like, and he's like, and I don't think you should.
You have to introduce yourself
that way. Like, you're just a person.
You're a person.
And you're welcome here. Like, yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do privately.
Yeah, he's
as
like,
long as
sure,
you're a good person.
Based on my religious beliefs, I disagree with your lifestyle, but like, that's not what this is about.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And he welcomes him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that is not homophobic.
No. Yeah. I mean,
oh man,
it's just clearly not. So to say he is, I mean, is very out of context, and you know, it's just kind of ridiculous to assert that.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's take our next break, and
all right.
We'll
be right back.
Yes, sir.
I had a nickel for every time I lied to myself, I'd buy myself some common sense and make those cents stack into dollars. I'll bury them deep, not to be bothered, so I don't spend it again on me again. Well, no, 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 not on me again. It's something about your currency that doesn't sit easy with me, but I understand you have the riches of 1,000 men and always handled opportunities well, invested in stocks as others fell, always had the cash flow to keep your feet on the go. Well, you were always a capitalist of love's riches.
Welcome back. Okay, so should we keep going with this?
Yeah, you want to go through a couple more?
Yeah, let's go through a couple more of these. Hopefully it works this time. Nope. Why? Okay. All right, and we're back. Okay.
There we go.
Cool. So here's a part on trans people.
That big of a deal. Trans people.
I just want to say I'm a transgender male. What age should kids be able to get things like hormone therapy? Because I don't know what's true, what's not.
Tell me, are you comfortable telling me your story?
I've known that since like 3rd grade, and I'm currently 19, almost 20. I've known basically since then. I didn't start going by like a different name until 7th and 8th grade. I just don't know, like, with the whole medical stuff, like what's true, what's not.
I'm gonna let this person finish, but Charlie gets called a transphobic bigot. The crowds get called transphobic bigots. If the trans person that went through that crowd is asking a question, no one's heckling them, no one's harassing them, no one's beating them. Charlie's sitting there being super respectful, hearing them out. That's all he ever did, was hear people out. Like, he wasn't this radical person that was very mean and rude on campuses. No, he could get stern with people. He was matching energy, that's for sure. He matched energy. But this is who we're talking about as someone super transphobic.
It's helpful because I've heard so many different opinions.
First of all, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to have an opinion that very few people will ever tell you, which is I want you to be very cautious putting drugs into your system in the pursuit of changing your body. Mm-hmm. I instead encourage you to work on what's going on in your brain first. I think what you need first and foremost is just a diagnosis. Just someone that is going to listen to what you've gone through, listen to what else is going on. My prayer for you, and again, very few people will say this, I actually want to see you be comfortable in how you were born.
Yeah.
I know that you might not feel that way, but I think that is something that you can achieve. I think that with the right team and the right people, you don't have to wage war on your body. You can learn to love your body.
That's the people. That's who someone that people are calling transphobic bigot. Someone like that in an interaction like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's night and day from just hearing a clip of calling him. You hear a small clip of those things. And it's easy to just write it off as clearly he's just anti this, anti that. But you hear the full context and you see him sitting there and like willing to hear somebody out, hear their story. They're clearly searching for somebody to help them.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to come up to the microphone hostile and argumentative and want to truly understand yourself or the other person, then you might have a great conversation with somebody. But if you're going to come at it hostile and have all these assumptions already in your head, that might be what you're met with, right? But if you're going to come to it just, authentic and tell the person what it is that you've experienced, and their question was obviously searching for answers. Maybe they were going to the wrong person for medical advice, but he gave them a very open answer as far as what he believes, and
whether or not you agree with his answer, like that answer clearly comes from a place of love. Like that comes from a place of like, I think this will help you. Like that wasn't just condemnation and judgment and negativity.
Yeah, and he wasn't ridiculing them or making fun of them.
Right.
It was a open invitation to do more research.
Right.
And to figure out what really is going on.
All right, let's do this one on racism. And then we'll go from there, but here we go.
Racism.
Oh, we got to restart again.
Freaking thing.
I don't know why. Every time we pause it, apparently.
Yeah, every time we pause it.
The wealthiest country ever, at an amazing university, with all the opportunity imaginable in front of you.
I think we missed the beginning of that.
What about that? Racism.
You are here in the wealthiest country ever, at an amazing university, with all the opportunity imaginable in front of you. And all you want to do is look backwards at everything that prevented you, when you are a glaring example that there is no systemic racism and you can actually achieve your wildest dreams.
Whoa, I never said that. Hey, I'm not the only black person who exists out there. There's so many people who this culture is affecting to this day.
Do you know black Americans are the richest black people on earth?
What statistic
Africa.
is that? Okay, I need you to pull that up right now.
You can. Black Americans per capita on average.
Can you pull that up?
I'm hosting an event right now. I don't know what to tell you, but anyone can fact check me on this. So you cannot find a black majority country or any country where black people have significant representation where they are as wealthy, because even the poorest people in America are in the top 5%, the top 2% of wealth around the world. And so my whole belief is stop acting like you're a victim and start making better choices.
That's not racism. I am my ancestors' dream. I'm in the deep South, Tennessee, I don't know, 40, 60 feet, probably above tons of my ancestors that were slaves hundreds of years ago, living their dream right now. I am my grandfather's dream, who could not speak openly like this, who actually dealt with the Jim Crow laws, who actually dealt with the real racism. I'm afforded every opportunity any white person is in this country right now. Are there economical differences? For sure. Are there some systemic things that we can get into? For sure. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't have it better than every other generation of black people that have come before me in this nation. I have it better. We all have it better. We genuinely do. I don't understand how people can sit here and call Charlie Kirk a racist when even back in 2018, 1920, hosted events like the Young Black Leadership Summit, where he would take 200 to 300 young black people all across the United States, invite them to DC, invite them to meet the president, invite them to the White House, invite them on this journey and this conference to learn more about the black history in this nation from other black people, to hear about stories that aren't taught in schools, to see a different side of our past as victors and not victims. You know, being a part of founding organizations like Blexit, where they are active in a ton of different states, in a ton of low-income black neighborhoods, giving young black kids mentors, school supplies, rides, field trips, events, block parties, that man. But people just want to say, oh, he was racist because he said this one thing. That's not how this works. You're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to say things. And also, you as a person watching this video, you're allowed to fact check everything for yourself. You're allowed to think deeper and think critical about the things that are being said.
Boom. Yeah. Man.
So, yeah, I'll post a link to this video. There's a bunch more. It's really good. And, yeah, I highly recommend you finish watching it.
Yeah, seems good. I'm going to have to watch the rest of this myself. Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, like, out of context clips going viral online is not where you get your news. It's not where you should get your opinion. It's not.
Well, it shouldn't give you your entire understanding of who a person is. Is just like what someone else says about them or a little snippet out of context.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're following certain people who are just reposting and the things that you're, consuming are not even of the original creator of the content, but of a person who's, overwriting something with text and implanting certain things, and it's just disingenuous. Go to the source if you really want to learn.
Yeah. You brought this one.
Yeah, so this was Terrence Williams' post about Charlie Kirk, and this was Elon Musk's repost of it, and what he said was, this lie and many others about Charlie Kirk have been published by almost every legacy media news organization. So, yeah, let's play this real quick.
And I want to give Charlie some credit here, okay? Back in 2019, Charlie Kirk helped a lot of young blacks get to the White House. He changed a lot of their lives. A lot of them never imagined going to the White House, and Charlie helped hundreds of young black boys and girls go to the White House. Charlie, thank you for that.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, man.
So for people who want to call Charlie a racist, kiss my black ass, excuse my language. Charlie Kirk is not a racist.
I love this guy. I'll tell you. And, by the way, I have some New York Times reporters for you to talk to.
I'll talk to them.
No, yeah.
And then Candice Owens did a whole video in tribute to Charlie, and I thought it was really beautiful. She had joined Charlie as part of Turning Point USA, and she toured the country with him, talking to college kids as well.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of the start of her career. So she was really close friends with him. And I think it's important to get to know the person underneath the public figure, and she does a really beautiful job in this, kind of going over who he was as a person.
Yeah.
And how the two of them would just like get down to some Kanye before they would do their speaking events. They'd hype themselves up and stuff. They're funny. Anyway, I want to just highlight a bit of the end of this video.
Okay.
And yeah, let's check this out.
Mrs. Erica Kirk sounds so much better than Miss Erica Francie. What is that? It's so funny because it was exceptional. I was always leaning into Charlie's analytical mind and making fun of him. Like, oh, well, all we need to do is get a plan. You love Erica? Okay, what's the plan? What are we going to do? What's step 1? What's step 2? And the plan that I came up with instantly was all we have to do is convince her that her last name is terrible. Her last name, oh, she's got to marry you because it's practical. Kirk is going to, Mrs. Erica Kirk sounds so much better than Miss Erica Francie. What is that last name? It's a practical decision. This is the text chain from that. Charlie and Erica Kirk, he says it's going to be the power couple of a century. I need to continue to pray about it. I said, her last name's dumb. She literally needs you to propose. It's way too complicated. He said, I'm going to tell her it sounds like a sneeze. It's horrible. And then I wrote, marry me. It's a logistics thing. That's just who we were. Always making fun and always wanting to know what the plan was. And obviously it worked, you guys. It worked. Our plan worked. We broke Erica down. First came the name shame, then came the wedding, and then came the children. You know, Charlie really loved Erica from a time I'm reading through the text today. Just loved her. He loved his family. He really did. And I just want to say that Charlie and I, because I think this is important, never for a single minute, ever, did Charlie and I stop being friends. Even when the world demanded that from both of us, our relationship was real. We were brother and sister. You know, we were fortified. Our relationship was forged in fire, the fire of politics. I knew him. I knew Charlie, the real Charlie. And Charlie knew the real Candice, you know? And people knew I didn't like a lot of people in politics. I didn't like a lot of people calling me and doing the political dance. Of course, people guessed it correctly when they said, oh, the person who probably was the intermediary when Trump called about Brigitte was Charlie Kirk. Of course it was Charlie. They would never send anybody else to call me with anything because they knew that Charlie was a brother to me. And there was so many things that were said that were wrong, and we laughed at how wrong it was when people thought that when I had made up my mind about Israel, that Charlie and me fell apart. Nope, never, not for a second. I said, it's the easiest decision ever because Charlie knew who I was and I knew who he was. I said, Charlie, this is where I'm at and there's no room for movement. And you tell your whoever that needs to hear it, whatever you need to tell them, because we're always going to be brothers and sisters, you know? We're always going to be brother and sister. And we would talk about things and debate things behind the scenes. And I think my perspective was as it's been throughout our relationship. You might not get it now, Charlie, but you will. I'm only a few years older than you, but I think you're gonna see things my way. And I think in the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. I don't think it, I know it. He was going through a lot and there was a lot of pressure. And it's hard for me to watch the people who were pressuring him, I don't know, just say the things that they're saying. You know, there's something about it that just feels really fake to me. And they would have allowed him to lose and wanted him to lose everything for changing or even slightly modifying an opinion. And then to see them doing what they're doing today, it's hurtful to me. It's very hurtful to me. But I don't want today to be about anything other than you guys knowing that Charlie really was an amazing person. You know, he was like, we were really close. And he was my best friend and my brother. And I will never unsee the footage of what I saw, the violence of it. I pray for the people who took any pleasure in that. There's not a single person in the world that I would wish that on. And least of all, someone with a heart like Charlie's. He loved his family, he loved his wife, he loved his country, and he didn't deserve that ending. You know, he's really young. But I know that we will carry the torch. I will never allow the memory of Charlie to be forgotten, obviously, because there is no Candice without Charlie. You know, we came up in politics together, and so I don't know what else to say, guys, other than I'm in a lot of pain right now. And I love you, Charlie, and, I'll see you when I'll see you. I love you very much. Thank you, guys.
Damn.
Yeah. He touched a lot of lives, man.
Yeah. It's clear.
And
it's clear.
I hope we just don't descend into more and more violence over this. And I hope the people who hate him so much will at least question why they do. What was it that he said that you heard him say?
Yeah.
That
Yourself.
justifies your feelings towards him that way. And if you can't answer that question, I challenge you to go and listen to at least a handful of hours of his material and
in
hear
full context.
him talk.
In full context, yeah.
And see
Watch
if
the
you
entire
still have that
conversation.
same extreme view about his views, or does he maybe just come off as a kind of
Arrogant
milquetoast Republican, not some far right Nazi fringe wants to kill everyone type of guy, because that's not who he was.
Yeah.
And just be careful about how easy it is to get yourself to a place where you hate someone
and are wishing violence happening on them, or are celebrating the violence that has happened to somebody. It's a pretty dark place to be in. I can imagine it being a very dark place. Like as happy as you may seem on camera celebrating the man's life that had just been lost. What happens when the camera turns off and you're by yourself in your room? Right? It's a dark place that you're living in when that's the type of mentality you have.
Right.
So I hope that
it's a spiritual disease to wish ill upon people and to be so full of hate. And being full of hate for a person because you think that person is full of hate for a whole group, that's still hate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even if you think it's hate in response to worse hate, it's still hate, and hate poisons your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to carry the burden of hate, you should know why. You should think hard and deep about giving that sort of emotional weight to
Power
your
over
thoughts
yourself,
about a person or an entire movement of people.
Yeah. And how it's going to weigh heavy on your psyche for if you aren't able to grapple with it.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a little bit of a downer episode, and
For sure.
obvious reasons. But we appreciate y'all sticking with us to the end here.
And I hope you will join us as one of the people on the peaceful side of things.
Yeah.
One of the people who thinks, even if we disagree, that we're going to be peaceful. And I hope you will join us in committing to being on that side, because we need a lot of that.
We need more of that than we need any of the other stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's a dark road to go down, especially if we descend into the chaos of everything and allow the politics of everything to become religion and to become dogma and to become easily, dehumanizing for the other side. Like, we need more people who are peaceful about disagreements for sure.
Let's talk this stuff out, guys. It's okay that we disagree. We need to talk this stuff out.
And with that said, if you guys have any comments for us, please leave them in the comment section, or you guys can email us directly at host@dualitycheck.net. If you guys want to check out our website, it's got everything and anything you might need as far as our episodes. It's a little different from our average episode, but it's obvious from what's going on that we had to address it, and it was on our minds this entire week. And
I mean, I don't know if we had to address it for like
anybody else's sake.
I needed to, just because it's all I've been thinking about.
Same.
So,
and that's kind of what this podcast has been for us, is a ability to talk about and get these things out in the open and not just stew on it in our own heads forever.
Right.
So, check out our website, dualitycheck.net. It's got everything you might need as far as checking out our other episodes. We're on Instagram and Facebook if you guys want to keep in touch or keep up to date with when our episodes are releasing. We are going to be doing a big move this next weekend, so we might be missing a week if we can squeeze in an episode.
Yeah, let's just say there's about 75% chance we won't record next week, just because I'm probably going to be dead from all the moving.
So much tired, so tired from all the moving.
If we get all that done and come like Monday or so, and we feel we got the energy to record, then I'm down to. But,
but just be aware that we might miss a week, and we hope y'all will come back for us the following week. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us.
See you
please
next time.
Like, comment, subscribe. We do want people to conversate with us about this. We don't, like we said in this episode, how important it is. If you disagree with us, let us know too.
Yeah,
we're happy to have conversations with you and work it out and talk about things. And we don't have to agree about everything, but we do need to talk. So hope to see y'all in the comment section. And we'll see you next week.
I love you all. Peace.
Love you. Later.